everything geeks speak. We will geek all over you. I promise you that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a good way to start, right?
That was an interesting way to start.
Yeah.
It was
something.
It
was something.
I don't have to do that anymore. So
yeah, I decided, well, someone said it at work the other day. They said, like, you should say, we should geek all over you. And I said, you know what? I agree with you.
You know what the thing is? You could have just stolen that. We would never have known.
I know. I didn't want to.
Clever.
I know.
Really, we could have.
Yeah,
I could have really
like,
believed
well, all right.
I can be pretty clever, but not. That wasn't me. So I feel bad now. I feel like I shouldn't have said anything. I'm gonna high up. I'm gonna just.
Hey!
Whoa! There we go.
All right, just falling over.
Whoa! And we're having fun.
Wow.
So reflexes of a ninja, right here.
Yes.
Just kidding.
So this is our first video podcast. How do you guys feel?
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Oh, this is our friend Alyssa right here.
Hi.
Say hi, Alyssa. You already said hi.
Hi,
All right.
Alyssa. Oh wait, that's me. Just kidding.
Well done, sir.
Yeah,
well done.
and this is our co-host Jeremy Mullet over here.
Not drunk. Thank you.
Not drunk today, no. And my name is Chad Morris.
It's not
so
the usual thing.
It's not. Well, compared to the last one.
Compared to the last one, yes. Happy New Year's was. Happy New Year's episode was quite.
Oh
interesting.
yeah, I heard some of that.
It was a recovery.
It was interesting.
Yes, it was quite amazing. And as you can see, we actually put this together for you guys. A little shrine of geekness over here. Some random geekness.
I'm like covering it all up.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, you can't really. You can't really see it. So.
Yep.
So, all right, so let's start. Oh, so Alyssa, before we start anything else, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Alyssa. I don't know what else you want me to say.
Well, what are you into for geek stuff?
What am I into for geek stuff? I'm really into Doctor Who, Game of Thrones, the Star Wars universe as a whole. I play a bunch of those
just lit up when you
games.
said Game of Thrones right there. I didn't know it.
No, what?
Oh my god, I need somebody to talk to about that.
So maybe we should talk about Game of Thrones.
We should talk about Game of Thrones.
Oh, is that this?
Is that?
No.
Is that your surprise?
It's not. I didn't know that until right now.
I was gonna mention it, but I didn't know if that's something you wanted to talk about now, or if you want to talk about it later.
Well, actually, let me ask you, when do you come back from New York? Because if it's around the time when season 4 starts, I want to do an episode where we talk about the last few seasons right before the show starts.
When does
I don't know
it start
when the show
again?
starts. That's a great question.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that
Sometime
question.
in the
I was gonna be like,
spring,
I have no idea,
so-
because I literally just watched the whole series.
No, I drive back and forth all the time, so maybe I can come in for a weekend. That might be fun.
This could be awesome.
She does come. She doesn't come a lot, but I mean,
I live in New York, by the way.
She lives in New York. We live in Massachusetts, so this is.
That is what she said.
All right.
Yep.
You started it with geeking all over ourselves.
I did start it, and you know what? I set the bar. I set the bar.
Set the bar so low. I just have to beat it now.
All right, I understand.
All right.
So okay, so we can talk about Game of Thrones today if you want to.
That's totally fine.
Yeah, but if you want to wait, we can totally wait. That's up to you.
We'll do a little bit of Game of Thrones because it's nice to have somebody that actually watches it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So
Have you read the books?
No.
They're on my list,
I will
but I have
watch
not
it
read
right
them.
now. Okay, right now I'm watching Veronica Mars. So
Need to watch that.
it's a great show, and the movie's
one I've
coming
never
out.
seen.
I've seen the first season.
heard
Now I've
the
seen the
movie's
first season
trash.
twice. What?
I've heard the movie's junk.
Yeah, it hasn't even come out
I've
yet.
read up on it, dude. Like the Kickstarter? You're talking about the Kickstarter film, right?
Yeah.
I've heard it's junk.
I disagree. I
don't
think
know. I
the
haven't
trailer
seen it.
like
We
makes it
just
look
saw the
really good.
trailer for it.
Yeah?
And
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I was kind of in the back of the car when they were watching it, but it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. So I mean, I have to rewatch the first. I just finished the first season. I'm on season 2 right now, and there's only 3 seasons, so I can catch up on it. I watched the first season, 22 episodes in 2 days.
2 days.
So it's binge watching worthy then.
Jesus.
Yes, at least for me.
That's
That's
impressive.
how I do shows. That's how I binge watch.
You just
I go through-
You
Netflix
do.
and
That's how you
binge.
did Walking Dead.
I did Walking Dead in a couple of days, I think.
My
first
brother
3
did the same thing as you. He finished the whole series in like a week.
Yeah.
Actually, in like 2 or 3 days.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
that's how
Yeah.
we do things.
Can you imagine
Oh,
that?
no, it was Breaking Bad that you thought. Breaking Bad I finished in.
Yeah, Breaking Bad, you went beginning to end.
I went beginning
I'm so
to
fucking
end.
jealous that you got to do
from
that, too.
season 1 to season 5 to the last episode. Now the last episode aired the day that I was on season 5. I was
So
watching
you were like,
it.
I have to get through this.
Yeah, so I watched season 1. I went all the way through it in. I think I was on season 5 after a week of starting on season 1. So I was in a week, and then
The only show I've ever really binge watched, well, there's 2. There was 3, I guess, because Doctor Who I did.
Doctor Who.
Although
yeah.
that took me a while to get into. Like the first season's not fantastic.
Which first season?
First as in
so anyways.
Let's not.
2005.
Anyways,
I'm assuming.
and then 24. because it just ends. Every friggin' show ends on a cliffhanger. And then the other one was Lost. And Lost last year.
Lost
I finished that whole series in like a month.
Oh yeah, and
Lost
you
is
watched that.
nonstop.
It's a great show.
Oh,
It's a
yeah,
great show.
nonstop. I couldn't stop.
It's you really have
And
to
I'd
keep
go in and
watching
people
that.
at work had like seen it, and I'd be talking with them. They'd be like, "Yeah, dude, we don't really remember that. It was 2 years ago we watched this." And I'm like, "It's right now in my life. You need to be here for me."
You should have always just talked to me because I know
We talked.
I've seen every season 1,000
Several times over,
and,
yeah.
and I'm like the
Dude,
biggest expert on
Do you
Lost.
remember when we were talking about Locke?
Yep.
You got so angry.
I did.
You're like, he's dead. I'm like, he's not dead. He's right there. He's dead.
There's
He's
like
not
4
dead. He's right
versions
there.
of him
there.
because Lost. That's why.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you were like, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. I mean, I was saying he was dead, and you're like, no, he's not dead. And I was like, dude, he's dead. I promise you to God, he's dead. And then you were like, he's not dead. And then he comes back. And
Yeah,
you're
and then I
like,
was
I
like, he's
told you
definitely
he
not
wasn't
dead.
dead. And I was like, dude, he is dead. I am telling you to God that he is dead. And then you said he's not dead. And then all of a sudden you were like, oh,
Oh, he's dead.
he's dead.
He was dead the whole time.
The whole time.
All
Dun,
of it.
dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun.
Ah,
Crazy.
Sixth Sense
All
all
right.
over again.
So what else we got?
All right, so you know what? Oh, so I wanted to tell you that I'm actually auditioning for my next show on
I know. I
Sunday.
want to see this.
Young Frankenstein the musical. I am so excited. I'm auditioning for Young Frankenstein.
For Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
I-
Frau Blucher.
Yes,
Sorry.
I'm hoping it happens. I'm hoping to God that I
Dude,
get the part
I
that
tell you what.
want.
Even if it doesn't happen, we're still going to see the show. So.
Oh, I'll go see the show.
We're gonna go see the
if
show.
I don't get cast
It'd
in
be
the
nice to have
part I
somebody
want.
actually sitting next to me that is you. So that'll be nice.
So,
Ooh.
what's your dream role in the show, though?
It is either Frankenstein or Igor. I love Igor.
Ah,
I
and not
think
the
I could do-
monster?
No, I'm not tall enough.
Gotcha.
My friend Kevin, who played Barfay
Yeah, he
in
would
the
fit
last
that
show,
role perfectly.
he would either do that. He would also be amazing as Igor.
I just tell you, your friend, by the way, whenever I see him now, he seems to avoid me. He's like, I'm just gonna go over here.
No. He's something he doesn't. He avoids you. He does the same to me. I mean, not avoiding me, but like he's always off doing something else. So
No, and I even so last time I saw him, I forget where we were, but I saw him and I was like, oh yeah, you remember me? He's like, oh yeah, no, I remember the person that made me really uncomfortable. And I was like, yeah, that was me. Yeah, so
yeah,
I'm
I
like,
mean,
you played 1-for-1 with me, man. You
Yeah,
never do
let's
that.
not even talk about what we were talking about that day. 'Cause
Let's not
that
do
was, yeah. I do want to talk about
Was it
that you're
there?
actually wearing a
Wearing a
shirt that
shirt.
I gave you.
This is the shirt that you gave me, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
a great shirt.
I will tell you that this doesn't say who this turtle is. It's
Yeah.
Mikey. No question.
You
That's
know
Mikey
it.
right there.
Yeah,
Not even a question.
Not even a question.
yeah,
Okay.
not even a question.
Yep. That's Donnie. That's Leo. And that's Raph. I think
That's
I know.
impressive.
It's
You
pretty
should
good.
you should just like put like post-it note.
I should
on
actually
them.
like put. I should take a highlighter. And
Yeah.
Just, or like a paint. And just paint it on there.
Yeah, no, you should do that.
This
Or
You
maybe
can
you should
actually do
like
that.
I'd be
commandeer
right,
someone
too.
to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how steady you are with a paintbrush.
I can do it.
No, he's
I can
a
do it.
good artist.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I can do
That's
it.
a-
And right, and then we have your T-shirt today.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
I
He's
was
actually
told to
within
wear
theme.
a geeky T-shirt, and I was like, "Sweet! I just got this for,
And
for Halloween."
considering
I got it
that
for
we're
Christmas.
also going to be
Nice.
considering we're also talking about Doctor Who today.
Yeah.
That's great.
It was either going to be this or Sharknado, and I figured. I mean, that's awesome, but I figured
Right.
Sharknado.
And
might
I
not be
went
the
I went
theme.
90s today. I did the All That logo. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. The All That
move
logo. All that. Yeah. So I mean that's very exciting. Now, did you want to wanted to talk about your game of the week, or did you want to just skip that? What do you think?
I'm playing Crackdown. It's good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
about
go
it.
on.
What is that about? I've never.
Oh, you've never even. Okay.
Yeah, total.
So,
Just
right,
a brief,
novice.
a brief synopsis, like
Super
like,
brief.
Look at him. He's
Like-
like, don't even talk about it.
No.
Don't even talk about it.
I'm
It's
just
your
saying-
game of the week.
Do you want to like play it afterwards or something?
No. I'm just saying if you're going to talk about it, about a minute. Take about a minute and a half
Do you
to
ramble,
tell
good
us
sir?
about it.
I am pretty good at rambling.
Yeah, so
pretty talented.
do about
You know what the
a
thing
minute
is
and a
though,
half.
we've like wasted a minute and a half. I wonder how much more time I can waste before.
Just
You'll
before
just
talking
tell me
about
that I
it.
So
can't
let's talk
it
about
anymore.
your game of the week.
All right, so
Oh, win! Champion right here.
all right, so
How does
my
that win?
all right, so my game of the week is actually, and we're not going to really talk about too much because we don't want to do, as Jeremy said, we don't want to do spoilers.
Can't do spoilers. 'cause I
No,
haven't
and
played it,
you
I
hadn't
intend
played it yet. I'm going to tell you right now, I was not. I don't know how to feel about it. It was Walking Dead season 2, episode 1,
Yeah.
because that's the only one that's out right now. I actually thought that playing as Clementine was very nice.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm like turned off on because
I
like, I
actually-
love Clementine because I was protecting her in that series. It wasn't her. You know what I mean? But my character and my personal feelings were to protect this little girl at all costs.
Right,
And now I'm
I
that little
understand.
girl,
But
it's
to a
like, I
certain
don't
extent,
know.
think of it this
Never
way.
know
Now, we
little
started
girl.
off with Lee. We started off with Lee in the
Yeah.
first season. and we all loved Lee, and then he ends up,
Yeah.
being deceased.
Yeah.
And if you played as any other character, I know it's fine.
Oh, it's good.
Would
All right,
you?
I guess.
Yeah. Would you ever? Would you? I mean, I feel to a certain extent, I wouldn't feel right playing another
there's
character.
There's so many other, like The Walking Dead. That's the thing that people fail to see. Is like this is the entire world's gone to genocide at this point. Everything's gone.
Right.
So you can be anybody. You can create a character. Like these people were created from
Right.
the ground up for the first season.
I
You could have created a
understand,
new
but
series.
for me, I felt that I really liked playing as her because she was the only other character other than Lee that was really left.
No, dude, there was a
That-
couple that was left at the end of the series.
And,
They would have
yeah.
been a perfect addition because they could have picked up Clementine at the end of the first series, end of the first part of the season,
Yeah.
and then we could have gone from there. And you could have again been protecting her because that's where to me that's what I loved about her. It was
I
not
think
being her. I never
for
wanted to
me
be her.
right now, I am scared because our main character for the first season died. I'm
Yeah.
scared that her story is going to be over by this season.
Yeah.
And now that we're playing as her,
Oh,
what if
that could
she?
be like the pattern.
Right, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen because I really like Clementine a lot. I mean, I'm very attached to her character. Like, some of the stuff that you have to do as Clementine in this episode is just heart-wrenching. Some of the things you have to make her do, or the choices you have to make, your heart goes out to her. And that's what I love about the season. I thought, to a certain extent, this episode was kind of slow.
Yeah, it's starting.
But
out.
there
It's
were
understandable.
definitely some decisions that you have to make, and definitely some scenes in that game that were really hard for me to make with her, and
Okay.
having to make them, and having to see her innocence kind of go away a little bit.
Yeah,
But I'm not going to tell you too much. That's just all I'm going to
that's it.
say.
That's all I got.
So is she
Yeah.
like significantly older in the second series versus the first series? Because I mean, I only briefly watched a little bit of the first part of the first series.
She.
Yeah, what is the time frame on that?
It begins.
That's a good question.
If you want to know, it begins with her as the same age as she was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe like a week after.
A week after. Okay.
About a week
so she's
after.
not like right in the fields then. It's
Right.
not pick up right afterwards.
And
It's-
then there's, I want to say about 10 minutes of gameplay,
Okay.
and then something big happens, and then it takes place like 2.5 years after that.
Gotcha.
So she's a little bit older, a little bit
Okay.
taller. Her voice has matured a tiny bit, but it's the same voice, which is nice.
2.5 years. That puts her in line with
Something
the
like
prison
that.
scene in Walking Dead. Actually, that's
Yeah.
where it puts her. Just about
Yeah.
that sign.
See, because
Yeah.
I was asking because what you were saying earlier with like you wanted to protect her, like
Yeah, that was
maybe
my-
like a couple of
my-
like it would be cool if like a couple of series like you had more people protecting her in like the second series, the third series, and then maybe by like the fourth,
Yeah, when
she's
she's like
grown
15,
up
16
enough.
years old, then it's like,
to, like,
okay, now
protect
she's
herself.
adult, she can make her decisions,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't know
I
how I
mean-
feel about an 11-year-old making a decision whether or not somebody to die, you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah.
Seems a
So
little strange
as I
to
said,
me,
The
so.
Walking Dead is amazing. I finished the compendium, the first one.
you did. Okay,
I-
so I can borrow that.
Yes, I will bring it the next time that I see you. And I thought that it was very good, and
It
I
is
can't.
very
And I have the second one. I haven't started reading it yet, but I will be
You're
starting.
going to catch up on that before I do.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's quite different, and I actually agree with you now that the comic book is more centered around everyone than it is just
It
about
is.
Rick. And I
I have a
really
theory, by the way, for the new series, for the new season. I
Yeah.
think Rick's going to die this season.
really.
I really do. I don't know, man. It's like the posters are leading up. I've heard a rumor that it's going to be somebody that is still alive in the comics is going to die. There's only 4 people that are optional for that.
Yeah.
So, and I honestly think Rick's going to be the one, and Carl will take over or something. It kind of gives you that feeling too on the posters, because the posters that are giving out for the second half show Carl as the front and center with
Yeah.
Rick kind of leading in the background.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, hey, I'm taking ownership and becoming the adult.
Well, we'll see what
I don't
happens.
know.
All right. So we want to talk about Doctor Who now. Doctor Who. That is my own version of their theme song, and I don't even know
Wow.
their theme song.
My ringtone is the 11th Doctor's like battle, super intense music. It's
Nice.
pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Doctor Who. I've watched a couple episodes, but
You
I
can't do
can't. You're gonna have Jeremy. You're gonna have to take over now. So All right.
Okay.
So what are we talking about with Doctor Who? Are we talking about like the current season, all
Yeah,
seasons?
why don't we go
or-
over we'll just go over Doctor Who in general. First of all, we should probably give a synopsis of what it is. Because
Pretty small one.
I know. Wow. All right. I like how like you can go on The Walking Dead for 10 minutes, but I'm like, all right. So now we're like, all right. Main
Practice
topic,
what
Doctor
you
Who. You get 2.5 seconds. All right. Go.
Yeah, you got about
All right,
2.5
Doctor Who.
seconds. Yep. Go ahead.
I'm good. All right, man. You're good. Move on.
All right. So that's the end of the show. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, how do you feel? Right? It sucks right now.
Yeah.
All right. So.
You
We should
told
definitely
me to
talk
do
about.
this.
We should definitely talk about some part of it because my thing was I went to convention. I go to the New York Comic Con every year, as our fans know, and I saw this blue box for years. There's a blue freaking police box, and people were obsessed with it. And I was like, "What the fuck is this? I don't understand. Where is a doctor? Why is it a box? What is going
Can
on?"
you make a phone call?
Right, like
who are you calling?
that's about, he barely makes phone calls in that phone box. I just want to say,
Seriously.
like once or twice the entire series. So, like now we're looking at the series. I finally started watching it. My friend explained it to me. He's like, "All right, well, he got me into it actually because the first episode I ever watched was the 11th Doctor. It was an episode with Amy. I think it was like her second or third episode where they're in
Gotcha.
Nazi Germany,
Okay.
and the biplanes go up in space.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, is
So
it the
was-
one where they have to kill Hitler?
No. It's like earlier on.
Okay.
Much earlier on.
Okay.
Yeah. What happens is like the Daleks are in disguise and they're in World War II and they're like in.
Oh, yeah.
Churchill
I think.
thinks that
yeah,
they're
it's the one with
robots, whatever.
Churchill.
Yeah. So, but the way he explains to me, he's like, dude, you got to
Naturally.
see the series because they literally have biplanes flying in space. It's so awesome. And I was like, okay, I'll finally watch it. We watched it and I was like, I don't know about the series, but I really like that girl. So I'm almost down for this right now, just based off of that alone. And what's going on? We good?
Yeah, you're good. I'm just having Brendan look at it for a little bit.
Okay.
You're fine.
Technical
Keep going.
issues, but not really.
Yeah.
No technical issues. I'm just having him look at something real quick for me.
All right. So then I started watching the first season, and that first episode is like the mannequins.
Well, it's the first. It's the first
in the
season
new
of
series.
the reboot.
Yeah, the reboot.
So,
but that first episode
yeah.
was the mannequins, and I was just like,
That
I
is
don't
so
know
campy.
about this. Yeah, I
It's like
don't
really
know,
like the
dude.
effects are kind of
It's
shitty.
so bad.
I saw the mannequins.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Oh.
I've
It's
seen.
really
That's not
good.
a
It's
really
really-
a good first episode.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
it's
lie.
not great.
I feel like it's really hard. It was really hard for me to get into. I've watched a lot of the pilots, or I guess what we'd call re-pilots. I've seen a lot of the doctors come in, and a lot of the ones that I've seen, and I'm talking about after the reboot in 2005.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I think I've seen.
Pretty
It's
much
funny.
every doctor.
Yeah, and it just hasn't captured me yet, and maybe
Gotcha.
it will someday because
It
you
will.
never know. Sometimes it just takes me a while, and then I'll just
Once you
binge
get
watch.
through that first season and you get on a tenant, you're pretty much golden at that point. Because once you develop into tenant, you realize who he is. You really start liking him. Then when he dies and you go into the 11th Doctor, Smith, he is again enjoyable. He's fun, and they're different personalities too. I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
But so the series itself is about an alien creature who looks like
The
a human.
Doctor.
Okay, yep, the Doctor, who looks like a human. He has 2 hearts, and he has the ability to regenerate. His species is able to regenerate 13 times. So whenever he dies, he can regenerate into a new person, basically.
And it's usually when they bring in a new actor.
Yeah, so what they do is, or this guy, he steals a TARDIS, which is a...
Time and relative dimensions in space.
nicely done. I knew I liked you. All right. So we go. And he just travels through time, and he can go anywhere and be anything and do
And he can go
anything.
any place.
And he can go any place. Yeah, he's just totally able to do anything he
Anywhere,
wants.
any when.
And that's like the genius of this show because it never ends.
They can just go. They can
keep
do
going on
anything. They
forever and
can
ever.
literally
Yeah,
do anything.
That's right. So yeah,
So-
it's very, very. I don't know. I really enjoy the series, and I really started to get into it. And now, after watching it for so long, after watching like all the seasons now, I'm all caught up. I've even gone back and. It was tough at first, but I've gone back and I've watched some of the older episodes.
I
and they're
haven't
not
done
as
that
bad.
yet. I haven't
You know,
done that yet.
That first Doctor's terrible. It really is. And I'm sorry. I love the show. That guy sucks. And then the second one's in black and white still. But there's one on Netflix. It's called The Three Doctors. And that involves like Pertwee and then the first 2.
Yeah.
And that one's actually not too bad because it gets all 3 doctors together. You get to know all the personalities. And you only really have to watch one episode to get know all the doctors.
Gotcha.
So I think that
love when
I haven't
happens.
watched beyond that. But I think beyond that it might start getting okay. Watchable.
Yeah, you get into the Baker years, and
Yeah, and that's right.
he
Here,
was
here
there
Baker
for like
was awesome.
he was there for like
8 years, right?
yeah,
he's
something
at the
crazy
longest
like
reign.
that. He was like an
I
entire
have
generation's
seen
doctor.
the movie that came out in the 90s.
I have
which
not seen
I actually
that
liked
one.
it. It wasn't great. Not great. Again, cheesy because I think that was kind of the theme at first with them. But yeah, no, he wasn't that bad. Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor, was not that bad.
See, what I liked about him was, did you see? I'm assuming you saw the
Yeah,
50th.
we saw a little-
the 50th.
yeah.
Yeah. So the little clip beforehand, they have like a little mini episode right beforehand that features the Eighth Doctor, and really he only had the movie. And so if you haven't seen the movie, it was at least like my first experience
to see him.
with
I was
him.
like, oh, he's back!
But he was awesome, and I really enjoyed it. So I might go see the movie, but I don't know. It might be like a little campy 90s, but we'll see.
It's
we'll
decent
see.
though. It's like he fights the Master, and it's kind of cool too because you'll get to
Master.
see in the beginning. It starts off with him as the Seventh Doctor. He dies for whatever reason, and then he comes back as the Eighth Doctor. And because of the way that he died, I'm not going to give you spoilers, but now the Eighth Doctor he can't remember who he is when he wakes up. And he wakes up in the middle of the morgue. So like he wakes up in a morgue, and then he gets out. And he's like, "Who am I? What am I doing here?" And he finally remembers at the end. Yeah.
Imagine if that happened and you went like this and then like this, and you'd heart.
Yeah, he's got
both
two hearts.
places.
He's like, "What is going on?" And then he finally, he fights the Master, and then there's a little scene there, and then he takes off in the TARDIS, and that's the end. And then it picks up where Eccleston is in the 5th season.
So in case you don't know, we're talking about the reboots and the older episodes and things like that. So Doctor Who actually started in 1963, and it went on for until like the 70s, maybe the 80s.
It went into the 80s, and then they tried to reboot in the 90s.
They tried to
reboot
with the movie
with the American audience, and I think that's why it didn't go over very well. Because Americans didn't know what it was, and then they shut it down. And then 10 years later, they opened it up again in 05.
Yep, in 05. So since
it's been going ever since. It's just been growing and growing and growing. And the irony is that now the Americans are almost more obsessed with it than the British are.
They're really driving the audience, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean that series, I've fallen in love with it. No question. You know what I mean?
Oh man, it's fantastic.
Every Doctor at this point I've started to enjoy because you start learning more about it and you understand it more. And as you understand it, that's sort of the genius of the series is as you understand it, it becomes you understand more and you're able to go back and you're able to watch the older stuff.
And you can really pick up on some of the little things,
you can pick up on some other
little
stuff,
hints
exactly.
because the showrunners and like Russell T Davies and now Stephen Moffat who ran the show. Or are running the show currently. They're really good at like leaving behind like little hints
and then bringing it back like
exactly
5, 6
and
episodes,
and then you can go back. You can go back and watch it and be like, oh my god, how did I not see that this was leading to this?
Yeah,
it's really really cool.
That sounds like what Lost is at all times.
Yes, yes.
It is sort of
every
like
little
that,
thing. Yeah, that's just what I was thinking about. So now that we kind of have like that kind of synopsis about it, which was more than fine though. You guys seem to have that's more than fine. I'm actually it sounded like that was actually.
He's just jealous because he couldn't talk about it. That's what it is.
I know.
It's a little bit.
And he can like sense our
He's like, I'm
passion
not
about
in this.
it.
You need to go slow. You need to go real fast. I'm not in it.
All right, so let's go to top 6. Let's go to top 6.
Top 6 is top 6 companions. We're not doing this in any specific order, by the way.
And we're not really doing.
So I don't even know
we're
what
really
says,
doing from the reboot forward.
From the reboot forward for this in this case.
We're not really doing
I
some of the older ones.
I've seen some of the older stuff, but I never really liked most.
I mean, Sarah Jane is awesome, but I only know her from the reboot.
Yeah,
stuff.
you know her from the reboot.
Yeah,
stuff,
so I don't really know her from when she actually was a companion.
Yeah, and I have to go back and I have to watch like the 4th Doctor really start.
Yeah, exactly.
So. Yeah, so who goes first?
You can go first.
It's you.
You claimed this one, and I was so mad.
I did. First one, because as I just mentioned, the whole reason I even started watching this series because this girl's gorgeous. We're talking about Amy. Amy is fantastic. She is an awesome, awesome character. I loved her character development over time. Just this way, at first, she's really not much. She doesn't have like a whole lot of personality. I thought in like that first couple episodes, she's kind of plain.
She's kind of down on her luck. Let's face it. She's kind of like. She's what like she's like one of those sexy grams or something.
Sexygram. What is that?
I don't even know.
We don't even have that in the U.S. I was sort of like, where can I get one of those? Because that's fantastic. Yeah, no, and that shows up in like that sexy police outfit.
Yeah,
it's kind of nice.
It's like,
not bad,
okay,
you know?
like, sure, but
then she kind of goes off, and at first she falls in love with the Doctor, like everybody else does. But he shuts her down, and then she moves on. She realizes that she's in love with her husband.
Actual fiance.
Yeah, her actual fiance.
Rory, who I also love.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He just gets better and better.
Those two are almost. They have to come as a duo.
They really do. They really do. You cannot separate.
You can't get.
Rory.
Yeah. I mean, because even at first, like you had Mickey, who was almost like Rory in Tennant's era.
With Rose.
Yeah, with Rose, but they really didn't do him as well. And then you get Rory and Amy, and it just that whole thing is so awesome because it goes from being sort of a slow story to like this is the greatest love story possibly ever told. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? And Rory, by the way, becomes older than the Doctor by the time the series is over.
He becomes like 2,000 years old.
Yeah, he's over 2,000 years old, so he literally beats the Doctor in
incredible.
timeline. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. So let's move on to the other one.
All right, well, then one I wanted to say was Captain Jack. So he's not really a companion for too long, but he is still technically a companion.
He is definitely a companion.
And he is just fantastic. I actually started watching Doctor Who because I wound up watching Torchwood first just because it started as a new series, and I was like, oh, cool, they, like, scavenge alien technology, then they use it to, like, solve crimes. I don't know what I thought it was. But
it's so much different than Doctor Who, by the way.
It really is.
Oh my god, it's so dark.
But it's a great, honestly, it's a great lead-in. It's a really good companion series.
Oh yeah, it really is.
Who.
I love that series. But I remember starting to watch that, and even Jack, because like I had watched Doctor Who first, and I had almost finished it, and his story was done by the time I started watching Torchwood. I remember starting to watch Torchwood and being like, is this really happening? Is this Doctor Who? This is based on Doctor Who? It's so dark. People are dying. What is going on?
It's in the same universe. Like, people are actually dying?
Yeah, people are dying. Like, this is like going to like one cabin with just like body parts laying all over the place, and I was like,
shit.
are you sure we're in the same
universe? Let's not even talk
here?
about Tasha and Owen.
Oh my god,
oh
right?
my god.
Oh man.
But anyway, so enough about Torchwood.
Much more adult.
But yeah, but
that's a good series for
Captain Jack though is phenomenal. So because I started watching Torchwood first, when I eventually got to his whole like arc with the gas masks in London and Rose and everything, and how he becomes like immortal essentially.
Yeah.
And it was really it was a lot more interesting to me because I already knew the character.
You already knew him.
I already knew the character a little bit more. Right. So he is just, I love his like personality. He's so out there, and he's like, he'll fuck anything that moves, which is kind of funny. But
really anything too.
Seriously anything, like man, woman, alien, does not even matter.
Whatever it is, he's in. He's like, I'm going for it.
So I mean, I
think that, by the way, is the actor. Same way.
Yep.
He literally is the same exact person. So.
And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the fact that he's American.
Right.
Like a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, I
nice
know it's a super British show,
there.
but it's a little variety. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah. He's funny as hell too. I actually saw not Jack, but the actor there. I saw him. He had a panel this year at Comic-Con.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
wait, just to himself.
Just to himself. He literally filled an entire studio, like entire audience. Just him.
I've been to that. Wait, in San Diego or New York?
No, New York.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the one in New York, and he just awesome. Such a good. And a lot of it was because he just got married. So like he actually took his husband out on stage at one point. His husband was in, like a Superman outfit, and he looks at it. He's like, I'm gonna bend you over later in that outfit. We getting it on tonight. Woo! Everybody in the audience, yeah, go for it. It was great. I love that series. I really do. And he's such a great character.
He really is. He's fantastic. All right, so back over to you.
So who do I have next?
Oh, is that it? Do I have Rose or do you have Rose?
No, I think I do.
You got Rose.
We both got it because we're both going to talk about it.
All right.
So the next one up is Rose. In case you guys didn't get that. Yeah, so we're talking about Rose, which she was the first companion of the new series.
Of the reboot.
Series. Yeah. First new introduction, and that first episode really served from her eyes, so it was almost like the new generation being able to see the Doctor and who he is and whatnot.
And she was really young. She was only 19. I mean, granted, I was like 15 when that came out, but she was really relatable, though.
Yeah, she was very, very relatable. Exactly, she was sort of the thing that it took to bridge the gap into the new series,
absolutely,
into the new audience. You know what I mean? Because Doctor Who is always going to have those hardcore fans who have been fans since the 60s and 70s, but they need to figure out a way to get them into the new series. Chad, you don't have to. Whatever. You
might be crawling on the floor. I'm not.
He's spying right now. I don't know what he's doing.
Chad's doing a full-out James Bond. I don't know which camera is recording currently, or else I would show you.
And then we called him out on it.
Yeah. You can probably hear the laughter traveling from like over here to over
here. Right.
I don't know if you can see me.
Oh, so anyway, so we go into Rose.
Rose.
Now I will say that when she was with Eccleston, there was that scene at the end of the season where he like kisses her, and I'm like, ooh, he's too old. The irony is, like, he changes into David Tennant, I'm like, I'm okay with this. Technically he's older, but whatever, I'm good.
At the same time, he is like 1,000 years old,
yes,
which you cannot even forget.
I know. But I remember just seeing that and be like, whoa, I didn't even notice there was something between the two of them. And then he becomes Tennant, and then you're just like, okay, obviously.
Sorry, there's another camera.
Right? Keep going, everybody. You're doing fine.
We're being distracted. Sorry.
Oh my god,
I know.
Rose.
I'm just trying to get this to plug in.
Yeah, so that whole series with him and her, and when she finally gets to see Tennant, and then he takes her with her, and then he kind of falls in love with her. That was just a great series overall. The worst part, though, was like Mickey, who's not a bad guy. He's a pretty decent guy. You know, kind of a loser. I'll give you, he's a little bit of a loser, but he's a cool guy, you know. He's kind of in love with, and then some dude just comes along in his, like, blue box, steals her from him, takes her on all these adventures he could never compare to.
Yeah, let's not even, like...
He was like...
He does not even have an inkling
of
a
no
chance.
Right? And then on top of it's Tennant, so like you just lose.
And then at the end, for some reason, I mean, okay, I'm switching companions just slightly.
Yeah.
She's not even actually on our top 6, but they put Mickey with Martha at the end.
Yeah, right.
Which I
How weird
thought
is
was
that?
really weird, and I was like, you'd never met, like,
Yep.
are you just putting the two black
This is gonna sound
characters
racist.
together?
That's exactly. I was like, you really gotta put the 2 black people together? Like,
Come on,
alright,
guys.
guess it
I
closes
thought
the
you were
series.
more progressive
Right?
than
I thought
that.
you were better than this. You have Captain Jack as a character.
But getting back to Rose really quick, I always also thought it was weird that her, like, mom came on adventures.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
know what? And her
it
mom
was-
grows on you over time. At first,
I mean,
she's
yeah,
a little rough.
Jackie's kind of, like,
Yeah.
obnoxious at first.
And she
but then
like
she
she
really
starts
grows
hitting
on
on Mickey too, like towards the beginning of that second season. You're like, whoa.
Sorry, I
Okay.
just wanted to just let you know that our battery on one of our cameras is slowly dying, and we don't have a charger for it. So
Dun,
we're gonna have to
dun,
pick it
dun.
up pretty quick,
No, it's
Okay.
fine.
just so we
We're
can
fine.
continue.
No, dude, because look, we got that camera there.
Okay,
We're good.
that's up to you.
What's up, bro? We're good.
How you
So
doing?
anyways, we'll go to the next one,
We're on the next one.
which I wrote down as Donna. I really like Donna.
You really like Donna.
I really, you know what?
man.
She's different
Yep.
than any of the other ones. They don't really.
You
She's
know what?
older
I just
than
don't
any
like
of the other
Catherine
ones.
Tate. I think that's my problem.
Is that the issue?
Yeah, because like I saw her before I started watching that. I've always been a fan of The Office, and she shows up in The Office for those last 2 seasons.
Okay, gotcha.
And I fucking hated her character. I was like, this
See,
sucks.
I don't
want
know.
to deal with this.
See, now that
I'm
I've
not
seen
doing
her
this.
on Doctor Who, I think I saw somewhere
Yeah,
that she
I
was
will
on The
admit, I
Office.
did go back and I watched Doctor Who again.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watched the whole series again, and I actually concentrated on her character more. And I can see where she does work really well for the Doctor, because in a way she heals him. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
and I think they really form this great friendship.
Yeah,
that
she
really,
becomes his best friend,
they're
basically.
best friends,
Yeah.
and it's really nice because he never really has that other.
Yeah, he
other-
never has it, because at least in the new series, every person he gets is falling in love with him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? No matter what he does, he's
Because
like,
people don't know how to write anything else.
yeah, they're like, oh, this one will fall in love. This one will
That
too.
and
This one,
love
this one.
triangles. Oh my god.
Right? It's like
stop.
non-stop in that series. It's ridiculous. So anyways, who's
Anyways,
next?
Craig.
Oh my god, who can't like Craig, right?
I don't know.
little
I
Craig.
really like Stormageddon, Dark Lord of All.
That is the best though, because Craig never actually goes on any adventures with him. You know what I
Except when
mean?
he does.
Except,
He doesn't go on any space
He
adventures.
never goes on any space adventures, right? He's just kind of a dude in London that happens to get to know the Doctor, doesn't really know who he is or what he is.
Trusts
He's just
him completely.
Trusts him completely out of nowhere, right? Like, it's so weird. He moves in with him. I love when he moves in with him too. He's like, "You're a bit weird." Yeah, all right, you can move in. That'll work. It's like, oh, all right.
Well, he comes up with like the giant thing of like rent, and he's like, "It's probably way too much, but here you go." And it's probably rent that could for like the next 3 years
Right.
or something crazy.
I love
like
when
that.
Craig opens the door too, and like the Doctor had built that big contraption. He's like, "What are you doing in here? You need to get out. You need to go. This is too much." Oh man, he's only been in 2 episodes, but I love that character. I really
He's
want to
really-
bring him back.
yeah.
Although I'd want to see him with Smith, so I don't know with Capaldi.
That would
you know
be
what I
interesting with Capaldi.
mean? Yeah.
Because
Think so?
I would be really interested. I don't know. I
Oh,
think.
that's right, because Capaldi would remember him, and Craig
And Craig would be like, "Who the hell are you?"
"Who are you?"
And it would be really funny if Stormageddon, Dark Lord of All, which is Craig's son. There's this whole thing where the Doctor's like, "Oh, I speak baby," and
Doctor can speak, baby.
of course, because he can also speak horse, but that's completely different. But he can speak baby and whatnot. So he goes, "Oh, the kid is like, oh, his name is Alfie," and he's like, "No, my name is Stormageddon, Dark Lord of All."
Dark Lord of All.
So
Yeah, that was so good. That whole series is really good. With Craig, and then having the baby. And like that first episode where he's trying to fall in love with the girl was also really nice. But I think it was that second episode that really kind of shot out.
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
That was it.
and it was so great that they gave him that chance to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then the last one that we're talking about is Clara.
Clara,
So
the
again,
new
these are really in no particular order.
Yeah, no particular
We
order.
just this is
awesome
just the
people.
top 6 that we came up with since the reboot between the two of us.
Right.
So there actually are a bunch more to choose from.
Yeah,
but
there's a ton more.
we just didn't.
We just
want-
went with these ones though.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Clara's a good character.
I like Clara. I
Yeah.
like her a lot. She's really clever.
Yeah.
And I don't think that she's.
She can almost like outsass the 11th Doctor, which was
Yeah.
always nice to see.
And
because
she
he
can
always
almost
had a one-up.
outthink him. Too,
Yeah, she can.
Which you never
You never
see.
see that,
You
yeah.
never see that. Even
yeah.
Martha, who was a doctor and like
Yeah.
really prestigious, and eventually you see her in unit, and she's like basically running the world.
Yeah.
She's you can
Yeah, she's
never see
you
her.
can't top the Doctor, but Clara can.
Claire can.
You know, and the
Claire
Doctor
can.
likes it. That's the best part. The Doctor's
Yep.
like, oh, all right, yeah.
And I
Keep
see.
you
I
around.
don't know. I don't know if they're gonna. I thought
She's
that,
in for the next season.
She is.
She's 100%
okay.
in for the next season.
That's really good because she needs a little bit more
More time.
development because it's the thing with like her, the Impossible Girl, where she basically sacrifices herself and goes back into the Doctor's timeline in order to save him multiple times.
Yeah, save all of the Doctors.
Save all the Doctors, exactly. It's really this kind of like weird sacrifice on her part, but it happens so soon we don't actually get to meet her that much.
Right.
Before it happens,
Right.
and you're like, oh, like we liked her, but we
Yeah, we're
saw
like,
her
she's
for
interesting, but we
not
don't
that
know enough
long.
about her to really get a full
to really
opinion on
care.
her. Right.
Like I
right.
care, but I don't care
She
as
gave
much
him
as
the
I
50th,
should.
though. She gave him the 50th.
She
so
did,
that was
and
good.
she was really excellent.
She was really
in
good in
that.
that, yeah.
She was really excellent in that.
And that finishes up our companions.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Oh,
welcome
sorry.
back. It just came back just in time,
Yes, we
didn't
got
I?
our co-host back.
Yeah. Okay. So now that we've actually had that done,
Yep.
I think. Did you guys want to go on to anything else that you can think of?
I'm good for now.
You're good.
We have to rush it.
Shut up. Is this still recording on that? We're doing great, actually. So
Yeah,
that's
we're
pretty good.
Yeah, we're good.
I have one other thing, and I know you're gonna kill me. I got something for you.
I told you I'd punch you in the mouth.
You
Can
can
you
punch
at
me
least
later.
let me duck or like?
No. dude,
Before
I'm gonna knock you
before
out, swear to
before
God.
you do it, it's just a blank disc
Okay.
that has Ninja Turtles coming out of their shells on DVD.
Holy fuck! No way.
I'm not even joking.
Dude,
it's on DVD.
Where did you find? All right, seriously, where'd you get this?
I downloaded it myself and made that as a
the
DVD.
internet.
You can only get this on VHS.
I know. That's why I made it. That's why I made it on
I'm the only
DVD for
person in
you.
the world with a DVD copy of this.
Yep. It is the if you never listened to our podcast before, this is actually
We're gonna stream this at one point. We're gonna stream this. You and I are gonna watch this. We're gonna stream it.
Fucking happening.
It's happening, bro. Musical Ninja Turtles. I'm so fucking
it's a
excited.
musical Ninja
It's a
Turtles.
fucking
Yes.
musical?
It's a musical. It came out in the 90s. You're watching too! Wow!
He's just very excited about this right now.
My ear is ringing.
Yeah, he gets a. I literally had this
Oh,
idea
man.
and I had to do it.
Oh, dude, it's probably like you got me so many gifts. Let's share it. This is the best one you ever got me.
Really?
Oh man, hands down. I'm
Wow,
so
and
excited
again,
right
you know what? It cost me nothing. Everything
now.
else cost me
That's
something.
The best part. I can't wait. Okay, we can move on.
All right, so I think that's everything for tonight. What do you think, Jeremy?
No, we got a topic still.
All right, so oh yes, your surprise
You wanna
topic.
Move on? You can-
Go right ahead, go right
Hey, you
ahead.
said you didn't have anything else to talk about because we had to rush it.
Yeah, he said we had to rush it. For Doctor Who, we had to rush through it.
All right, so go right ahead. Go right ahead.
All
Go right ahead,
Wibbly
my
wobbly.
friend.
So we're gonna go into serious mode now, even though we just this is freaking awesome. We're not gonna be serious, but still.
We don't
What I
know what
wanna
he's about
discuss-
to talk about, by the way.
What he wants to
This
discuss.
is a
All right.
surprise.
What does it mean to you? What does the word geek mean to you? What does it take to be a geek? What is that? What does it mean? What does that word mean to you? You
It's just being in some sort of in a following of things
Like
on
fandom, I would say.
Fandom, really. That's how.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be something different. You know, it used to be.
What do you think it used to be?
It used to be very close to nerd.
You think so?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always get confused about the difference between geek and nerd.
And
a bit.
and you know, I feel
Maybe
that I
because
used to
I'm
get
both.
that confused too. But now I feel that geek and nerd are completely different from what they used to be.
Yeah.
And I feel that being a geek is
I think that when people think nerd, they think like computer kind of thing, and you know,
Like
hard study
science.
area, yeah, like kind of like the Doc
Yeah.
from Back to the Future. He was a nerd.
yes.
He's the awesomest nerd ever.
Love him.
Yeah, but he is a
But,
nerd. Yes.
Yeah, Emmett Brown, he was definitely
Yeah.
a nerd. Now, like a geek, I think I agree with you because, and I actually, what I want to discuss is like, what has happened over the last 10 years? Because it's really only been over the last 10 years. In high school, it was still sort of shunned, and I was at 04 in high school. It was still sort of
Yeah.
like, oh, you're into that stuff.
Yeah, and that's not really the case
Congratulations.
anymore.
And it's really not the case anymore. It's almost like flipped on its head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To the point that everybody I know has some kind of fandom. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And everybody's
Everyone,
able to
a
get
lot
along
of
in
people
some
are. I
ways,
think
so.
more that everyone can be basically considered a geek now, because
Yeah.
yeah,
People have it's no longer like an insulting thing to hear, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think a large part of that, like, might be the way that the movie studios are doing stuff now. Because before it was all
That's a great
It was
point.
all the movie star, the movie star, the movie star, and now it's the franchise, the franchise, the franchise.
That is very true.
So now, because everyone's so focused on franchises and things like that, you have these epic fandoms building up.
Yeah. And I think that has also led, because you get those like superhero ones, let's say, right? So you get somebody like the Avengers and Iron Man. I hate to tell you this, dude. Nobody knew who the fuck Iron Man was until that movie came out.
Yeah.
He was still a popular character, but even in the Marvel Universe, he was a mainstay, but he was a B mainstay. Like, nobody knew who he was. And all of a sudden, because of this movie, he's blown up. And people have gone out and they've pursued these characters. Yeah. I know that I personally, as much as Wolverine Origins sucked, I literally started reading Deadpool because I watched that movie. And because of that first part where people were like, that's what Deadpool is like. When Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, that's what he's like. And I was like, I want to read a character like that. And I think that's kind of helped people to breathe life into this, too. And I think that it's great that we get books now that are turning into full-on shows, like Game of Thrones.
Right.
10 years ago, that wouldn't have been like a geek show. That would have just been like an awesome show. But now people consider it to be like within a geekdom because it's a book and it's sort of branched out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
And I think Marvel's done a fantastic
Marvel
job.
is
They're probably the pinnacle, I would say, just because
right
they've
now
gone.
they are, definitely.
They've gone.
Everybody's
It's
trying to
comic
pursue
books
that
to
life,
movies
that life,
to
yeah.
Right, and it's definitely gone back and forth with that. It's definitely gone back and forth, I mean, with Marvel and DC, but I think that right now, I agree that Marvel is really up there.
Marvel figured out the formula.
Yeah,
I think it's
really
just
did,
because
and
they've been just combining these universes and
Right,
allowing
and they
everyone.
knew
that's
exactly
what
how to
they
roll it
needed,
out.
right, and that's exactly what they needed. And now DC is slowly doing that right now, but it's not far behind, but it is behind at the moment.
It's behind, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely is behind. And, there are definitely some great franchises from DC, but the Marvel franchise right now, with all their movies that they're doing.
You know
Not
what's
to
great,
mention
too, about
Agents of
things like
S.H.I.E.L.D..
that? Yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is another one.
I just started I didn't just start watching
I'm
it.
waiting till
I
the
watched
season
it.
ends.
I watched the first
Shot.
episode live, and then I stopped watching it, and then I watched the first episode again, and then I watched and I watched it with the next 5 episodes after that, and then I stopped watching it. And I just watched the last 2 episodes that have aired right before I came here, actually, and it's not bad. It's not a bad show. I actually really enjoy it. I like that it incorporates a lot of what's happening with the movies, because right after Thor aired, the next episode of Agents.
Yup.
Of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents.
They were cleaning it up.
They were cleaning up what had happened with Thor.
I had heard that they were doing something with that.
Yeah, and I thought
It's
that was
really
kind of cool.
interesting.
They also have some really cool Joss Whedon Easter eggs in there. There's a point where, oh my goodness, what is his name? The main agent. Coulson, thank you. Agent Coulson is he's having a massage, and he wakes up and he goes, "Did I fall asleep?"
Nice.
And the masseuse goes, "For a little while." And I was like, yes! Because I love that show. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's Dollhouse. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's only 2 seasons, but it has an amazing ending. Watch Dollhouse. Watch Dollhouse. Also, watch Dollhouse. One of the best shows you'll ever watch in your
I
life.
think he might want you to watch Dollhouse.
Watch Dollhouse. Alyssa, have you
We're
seen
pretty much down for
Dollhouse?
all
I've
Whedon
seen
things.
parts of the first.
You have to watch it. It's amazing. The first 7 episodes are filler episodes.
Yeah.
Which I call it's an episode that has its own plot.
They're trying
and
to
its
set
own
up the
ending.
universe.
Right, and then after the first 7 episodes, kicks into kick-ass gear and just keeps going. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Do you know what else too is what's great about this Marvel becoming what it is you're also getting series that you would never have seen the light of day. So for example, Guardians of the Galaxy, first of all, that's not even a really good mainstream comic book. It's a B comic book that nobody really even reads. But we're getting that information. You know what I mean? We're able to see those movies. We're able to see that stuff, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Now that's going to be a full-on series. And I just remember hearing about that, and I don't even know what Guardians of the Galaxy is really. I've just talked to my buddy Steve. That kid went through it with me about 3 hours one night, so I understand the series now. But I think it's great to get that stuff because these are all going to be. There's not going to be a character in there that anybody's going to know. There's no Iron Man, there's no Spider Man, there's no Thor, nothing like that. It's all new characters, which I think is great. So.
And I think they need that kind of stuff. That's what I liked about Ultimate Justice League.
Yeah,
Justice
I think
League
it's great that
Ultimate,
they're taking that chance
when they went through a lot of the side characters that people don't really know about.
Yeah.
It started off with Supergirl, who everyone knows really, and then it went off with a lot of other characters that people don't know.
Yeah.
And it was all different. I really liked that about Justice League Ultimate, which I thought was Unlimited. I'm sorry, Unlimited. Justice League Unlimited, and I thought that was really cool that they did that. So I agree that sometimes they need to do that because then it gets those characters more well known, and then you're like, oh, I really like that character, I really like their decisions, or I hate their decisions, so that's why I want to read their comic books and all that. So yeah,
Awesome, man. I guess that's it for my topic. So.
Yeah, and that's everything I have for today. I have nothing else, and apparently Alyssa's going to be coming back with us eventually to do a lot of other stuff. Hopefully.
Apparently.
We're gonna talk Game of Thrones.
She is more than welcome to
Game of Thrones fan here, folks. Yes.
Game of Thrones, which
He's
is
just so
I can't
excited.
think about
Actually,
that yet.
we're gonna watch this.
We are going to watch that, so that's going to happen. Well, Alyssa, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to just kind of...
It's a good time.
Yeah,
just kind of get down and chat for a while.
Yeah. It's really a lot of... It's a lot of
It's good
stuff.
too, because when if you and I were chatting at, like, let's say, Smoky Bones or, like, a restaurant, we're going to talk about stuff, but then we're going to go off subject, we're going to talk about other stuff, and we might come back to stuff.
Hi. Sorry about the abrupt ending, but unfortunately your camera ran out of battery, so that's the way it goes at the moment. I just wanted to thank you again so much for listening to our podcast. My name is Chad Moores, and my co-host is Jeremy Mullet. Thank you again so much, Alyssa Mathews, for coming in, and we'll see you again next week. Don't forget to email us at chadanmfilms@gmail.com, and also like our Facebook page. You can find both of those links in our description box. See you next week.